shadows play. Legends come alive at the break of day. Footsteps echo loud, but no one's there. Bigfoot's lurking in the midnight air. Sovereign house beneath the moonlit gloom. Eyes that shine like fire in a room of doom. Poltergeist dancing, moving through the halls. Ancient secrets breaking through the walls. O.C.S.T, it's more than a name. Bigfoot and stuff, it's a whole new game. Chasing the truth in a silent night. Empowered by the mystery, fueled by the fright. Cryptids in your mind, let your wonder grow. The hidden world is ours to know. From the forest deep to the attic's dust. Oh, O.C.S.T, we're learning to trust. Tracks in the snow where the brave won't tread. Hidden voices calling from the things we've read. The unknown things with a haunting sound. Empowering us as the tales go around. O.C.S.T, it's more than a name. Bigfoot and stuff, it's a whole new game. Chasing the truth in a silent night. Empowered by the mystery, fueled by the fight. O.C.S.T, it's more than a name. Bigfoot and stuff, it's a whole new game. Chasing the truth in the silent night. Empowered by the mystery, fueled by the fight. Fueled by the fight.
Oh, gotta fix this real quick. There we go.
I liked it better the other way.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to O.C.S.T.
Bigfoot and stuff.
I'm your host, Harold, and this is
Me.
Christy.
I'm CRK Design, Christy.
Let's see.
Or
Let's
AKA Jiffy Pop.
scroll to the top here and
Sorry.
say our hellos. So we got Sparky's Paranormal and Outdoors.
Sparky was the first one.
How you doing, Sparky? It's good to see you. We got Sharon with 2 R's.
Sharon, how are you?
Good to see you, Sharon. And then we have Sharon Guy. Good to see you, Sharon. And Grace is in the chat.
Hey, Grace, how's it going?
See you. Let's see who else.
I know Jim's in here. Hey, Jim.
Yeah, there's Jim. Hey,
Let
Jim.
me tell you, you go live like before Jesus does in the morning. Sorry, this is really early in the morning.
Let's see who else.
Hey, Sharon, just to answer your question, who wrote Harold's song? AI did.
Yep. Well, I wrote the words and then it arranged them. But we got Emmy in the chat.
Hey,
Good to see you.
Emmy. And then I know CJ's in here. Hey, CJ, I saw his thing
Hey,
in
CJ.
here.
Yeah, right there. He is. Let's see who else.
That's it.
That's it for now. It's good to see everybody. Today's episode is called El Chupacabra for a reason. We got our first case study up here in northern Oklahoma. A lady messaged me and said that she had a sighting of a chupacabra about 6 years ago on her property north of Oklahoma City. Of course, I'm not going to give her real name or her actual location for her safety, but she told us that she was at home.
So we're just gonna jump right into it. Sorry. Okay, I was just asking.
She told us that she was at home and she had just got home and she brought her children inside and her place has a pecan grove on it, and of course I'm having to read from my notes, y'all. We just got this yesterday, so this is the dirt road with the trailer on the property near the railroad tracks. She has a tree line that goes adjacent to her property. Is that what she said? It was adjacent, I believe.
Yeah, they're
Yeah.
just west of her house.
And then her father's property is right across the street from her. They have cameras up all over the place, so she's able to catch anything that goes on. And this was during a warm month. She didn't exactly say exactly what month, but it was during one of the warm months. She was located at the front of the house, on the west side in the kitchen, and she heard something outside. So did her children, and she went to the windows that were the living room windows, which she has the front porch and then the living room, and then it leads to the kitchen. So she was passing by the large windows in the living room, and she happened to look out the window, and it was pitch black outside. And she saw something out by the chickens drinking from the kiddie pool outside. It was the only light out there was a street light that was lighting everything else. Otherwise, it was really dark outside. She said that there was a lot of shade on the animal. She said it looked like a dog sitting and drinking from the kiddie pool. Well, she saw the eyes, and she said the eyes weren't exactly glowing red, but they were red. And let's see. So she had a really bad feeling about it. So she went, rushed to the front and locked the door.
Yeah, because at that time she was kind of frightened about it.
But then she wasn't. She was worried about it. She thought, it's just a dog drinking pool. So she proceeded to put her children to bed, and she went to bed. And then she woke up and looked outside. And she had seen the creature once again, and it was still dark outside. She said the creature looked, of course, it had the red eyes, and she said it appeared to be like a dog leaning down and drinking from the kiddie pool. Well, she says the color of it was gray and black. She said that it was about the size of a between a heeler dog and a coyote. It had an elongated head. She said it looked to be approximately 35 to 38 pounds. She had mentioned that the animal. I asked her to look at a picture to help describe what it looked like, and she said the animal was dog-like, like I said, pretty skinny, and the way it was leaning down, if you've ever seen a dog drink water, how they have their front paws on ahead of them and they're stretching their neck. She said it was doing that, but it didn't really notice she was there. So it wasn't really looking at her because she was looking from the side windows. So she, let's see, lost my train of thought here. She then proceeded to tell me, I have a picture here that would show it. She said it was kind of like that. If you can see it, put it on a large screen. She said that picture there explains pretty close to what she saw. She said it was the closest to what she saw. So if you notice, kind of elongated head, the pointy ears, and I asked her if it had a spine, if it had anything sticking out from the spine, and she said she really couldn't tell because of the way it was facing her. But she says that is pretty much a depiction of what she saw, except it was gray and black. Now, she also said about this picture here, she said this was kind of close to what it appeared to be like, but she didn't see it stand up. She said it was just drinking, and then when she went away from the window, she turned away from the window, she turned back and it was gone. But she wasn't about to go outside and check. So just to give everybody an idea, this is another version. This is pretty close to what she was explaining without the hair sticking up, the red eyes. Of course, it wasn't leaning over an animal; it was drinking from a kiddie pool. But that would be kind of the angle that she was looking. So
yeah, it was. She said that she was kind of frightened, but because she had a feeling that something was out there, she didn't go out there right away and check or whatever. Question. Yeah. Oh, Sparky has a question. So how do you take out?
How do you take out? Go ahead.
No, go ahead. Due to low light and such misidentification. Well, here's the. Yeah. Go ahead. Sorry.
No, go ahead.
I was gonna say, here's the thing. This was just brought up to us, was it yesterday?
Yeah.
And her name, well, we're going to call her Lady J. She was very interested in what we had to say by what she could tell us or what she saw or what she thought she saw. It's very interesting. It didn't eat her chickens right then. I mean, she had chickens, so it was out in her yard, but it didn't really touch the chickens. But eventually her chickens, one by one, kind of started disappearing. Mm-hmm. I mean, she doesn't have, I don't think does she have chickens now? I can't remember.
No.
I think 4 maybe.
She said they disappeared so often that they ended up getting rid of the rest of the chickens because it wasn't working out. So something was still in her chickens, but she didn't know what. And she's not saying that what she saw exactly was a chupacabra, but she said that's what it appeared to be, because it didn't look like a completely like a dog. It had scaly skin. It had. I asked her if it looked like a dog with mange, and she said yes and no. So that's when I proceeded to tell her to look at the pictures. Now, I know if she saw a chupacabra, it was the North American version and the Puerto Rican version. We'll get into that in a little bit, but those that know the history of the chupacabra, it became a really big craze back when the dog-like version was spotted all throughout Puerto Rico and then into the Americas in the 1970s. So, but there are other versions of it. There's a lizard man looking version of it. There's a dragon like version of it, all from different locations. But it's pretty much been so-called parentheses debunked because of the different versions that people see. Now, of course, we all know science has to be perfect, but
That's it.
in the real world, science has to be, you have to prove everything to a T. Even though there are different versions of different animals all around the world, just because one version has wings and the other one doesn't mean that it's not the same kind of species. It's just a variant of the species.
It wasn't like the old chupacabra that was on the Scooby-Doo.
Yeah, that one's loosely based off of all that. Yeah. But there's all different kinds of versions of it. There's people that will see small ones, the medium-sized ones, and very large ones. The first time I heard about chupacabra was the Mexico version of the chupacabra, or Central American version, also with the wings. We got a few more people that came in the chat. We got Belinda. She joined us. How you doing, Belinda? And Romans 1:16.
And
How you doing?
Pink Pixie's in there.
Pink Pixie's in there. Good to see y'all.
I don't know how to say it. I don't want to butcher it.
Which one? Wachita.
Yeah.
Wachita Okie.
Wachita. Sorry, I didn't want to butcher it.
Good to see you. Welcome to the chat.
Yeah, welcome in.
Okay.
And you're welcome, Sparky. We're trying to explain this as best we can, or at least I am. He's been researching it since the phone call yesterday. But what I was going to say is that we have gotten granted permission to go, so to speak, investigate Lady J's area.
We got verbal permission.
Yeah. So here in the upcoming future, it could be our first BOTG.
Yeah. Our first boots on the ground in northern Oklahoma, besides being, well, can't really say first because we did go to the cemetery.
Yes, but not as maybe our first live BOTG.
Right. We'll
see how
possibly,
that works.
We also have something else out in the works, but we'll talk about that later.
So he's excited. He'll get to go have like flashlights like cornbread. Hey, Figgy. Sorry, I just happened to see
Hey,
you scroll
Figgy.
down.
I'm sure Figgy knows a little bit about the Puerto Rican version of the chupacabra.
Say it right. It's El Chupacabra.
Yeah, it's El Chupacabra, but in the American enunciation is chupacabra.
Mm.
I mean,
Sorry. Bugging me. Ah.
but actually the correct pronunciation, the Spanish pronunciation is.
Don't mess it up. Figgy will get you.
Hold on.
A Figgy will
It's
get you.
chupacabras. That is, it literally means goat sucker.
Ew. Sorry.
From the Spanish chupa, meaning sucks, and cabras, meaning goats. It's a legendary creature or cryptid in the folklore of parts of the Americas. So
when if you don't go out? The best of luck. Oh, I was reading what Sparky's paranormal said. That's awesome that we get to go out there on the site and look around. Or hoping to see what we can find. Exactly.
Yeah.
And we're not saying if it really was an El Chupacabra or
Belinda's having trouble with her connection.
oh no, Linda, it's okay. Is it your phone?
Biggie says chupancabra. That's how they pronounce it, according to her.
Okay, you went big. Hey Margie, how are you?
Margie, good to see you. Yeah, Sparky says, can't wait to see what you find.
We can't either, to tell you the truth. Sorry.
Yeah. Well, this lady said she's never seen any other type of cryptids around there, herself personally, and she didn't know whether her dad did, but both of her parents had passed away. So
yeah. Hey Misty. But here's even more funny.
Hey Misty.
Little tidbit thing. She actually likes the cryptid stuff. So she was trying at one time to get like a group together to investigate cryptids. So maybe, who knows what happens? Could possibly be something fun for us in the
future. Piggy said she's at Walmart shopping. She just got out of the hospital from COVID.
What?
Plane was horrible, but she's home.
My goodness.
Well, we're glad you're home and
almost
feeling better.
Prayers for Walmart, because we know how crazy Walmart can get, but prayers that you get to feel better, hon. Most definitely. You take it easy, get some rest. Love you. Oh my goodness. I am so sorry you got sick.
That bug is not something fun to have.
Okay, what did Sparky say? I'm sorry.
Sparky says
what? Oh, that's good for you, because if no other cryptids, what you find, it's from what she said is there. Yeah, it's awesome. It's going to be awesome.
Yeah, now, granted, the chupacabra, supposed chupacabra she saw was 6 years ago. So if we find any evidence of something like that, then it's definitely continued to come around, plus probably possibly have offspring. But we'll find out when we check.
Hey, John.
Hey, John.
Right there.
Yep. How you doing, John?
I was going to give Figgy a hard time and say, what are you buying me at Walmart? But nah, I'm not going to do that right now. I hope you just feel better, hon.
Yeah. By the way, everybody, she loves Star Mix candy.
Don't tell them that. They'd be sending me some. Don't you? No. Don't y'all do that.
It's her absolute favorite, the Star Mix gummies.
The Harbor ones.
Uh-huh. All right, so I'm gonna.
Do you look pale to me?
Yeah.
I don't know, like maybe a little bit.
Gonna read
You're
a
not
little bit
feeling good?
here,
I'm sorry.
about the origin of the chupacabra. Like we said, um, Spanish pronunciation, at least on here, was chupacabras, but Biggie says that it's chupancabras. Thank you for that, Biggie.
Teenage chupacabras. Sorry.
Yeah. He had to deal with the teenage chupacabras
What
all day.
Tannies? Says I see one.
Tanius,
Good to see you. Welcome in.
good to see you. You've seen one?
Bigfoot is real here. Where is here? Sorry.
Yeah, here in a little bit. I'll be putting the link in the chat as soon as we get through the chupacabra thing here. You're more than welcome to come up in the chat when I post the link and tell us all about it.
Sorry, did you see what Belinda said?
Mm-mm.
Yeah, right behind them.
Oh yeah, yeah. See, I see Bigfoot. I see more than one.
I see one here and one
Yep.
here.
Yep, one here.
Sorry. We're being silly.
Yeah. Okay, let's see. Like you said, it's literally pronounced. The English word for it is goat sucker. This legendary creature or cryptid in the folklore parts of the Americas. The name comes from the animal's purported vampirism. The chupacabra is said to attack and drink the blood of livestock, including goats. Now, before I continue, I want to remind everybody this is for entertainment purposes only. And if you have a queasy stomach, I suggest that you maybe turn the volume down or.
So you're saying this is going to get gross?
Yeah, it gets a little gross.
Why?
Let me see if I have that banner.
Why does stuff always have to get gross? There wasn't
There we go.
cornbread's thing the other night making me almost sick. It's this one.
If you have children watching, I suggest it's up to the viewer, but
Viewer discretion is advised.
But like I said, this
They're early tonight.
chupacabra is the folklore is
Hey Amber.
that it's a vampire. Yeah, hey Amber. So didn't want to miss the show tonight. Also, I'm fighting bad toothache at the moment. May have to go to bed.
So Amber, just punch it out. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
I'm not endorsing this product, but Ambisol or Oragel or swish around some salt water, some warm salt water. Add some salt to some warm water and swish it around in your mouth and then gargle it. Should help.
But prayers for you, hon.
Yeah.
I know toothaches suck. So
yeah, they drink blood. What they do is they have these supposedly have these really sharp canines, and they it's usually 3 that they insert into their victim, and they suck most of the blood out. Not all the blood, just most, to the point to where the animal passes away. Their victim, anyways, because they have been known to attack humans also. But let's see.
cattail gel? Never heard of that. They're arcane. Is that a Wisconsin thing?
Cattail gel.
Never heard of it.
Oh, cool.
Can you buy that over the counter, Jeff? Because that might be because Colton's wisdom teeth are coming in. So besides all the other stuff he's got going on, this jaw hurts too. So, and then, so that'd be interesting to find. Anyway.
Okay, so
Continue reading, sir. Sorry.
The name comes from the animal's purported vampirism. The chupacabra is said to attack and drink the blood of livestock, including goats. Physical descriptions of the creature vary. In Puerto Rico and in Hispanic America, it is generally described as a heavy creature, reptilian and alien-like. So that would be something like this.
It is looking
Put
creepy.
it full screen. This is the classic. Like I said, in Mexico and Central America, the classic chupacabra is
Maybe
reported to be like
something like that.
One version is like that. Anyways,
hey, Anthony. Wait, let's see that. I just said hi, Anthony.
Yeah.
Oh, hi, Anthony.
Anthony.
Yeah, I just saw his name.
All right, Anthony. You can go back and watch the beginning later.
I'm just gonna give him a hard time.
You
are so fired. No,
okay.
Belinda says, handsome fella.
Yeah.
Can I pet it?
And then the other version of it in the Hispanic North America is the winged version.
Now that's creepy looking crap.
Yeah, that's the version that I found out about first when I first heard about the chupacabra. I was living in South Texas.
It's like a freaking dinosaur looking.
Yeah, looks pretty much demonic. Okay.
Your wife has not eaten yet.
Let's see. It's generally described as
so she doesn't get food.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Roughly the size of a small bear, and with a row of spines reaching from the neck to the base of the tail. While in the southwestern United States, it is depicted as more dog-like, like we had mentioned.
Sorry, Sparky goes, yeah, I've heard of the wing thing too, but yeah, that's no, hell no.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, you cracking me up there, Spark.
Yeah, imagine running into that in the woods or in the middle of your town.
Oh, I didn't know that. Cool. Anthony is Amber's son.
Oh, yeah?
That is awesome.
Cool.
Well, welcome in, everybody.
Yeah, welcome in.
We are so happy y'all are here. Okay, sorry.
Good to have you in here.
Sorry.
Let's see. So is depicted as more dog-like. Okay. Initial sightings and accompanying descriptions first occurred in Puerto Rico in 1995. The creature has since been reported as far north as Maine, as far south as Chile, and even outside the Americas in countries like Russia and the Philippines. All the reports are anecdotal and have been disregarded as uncorroborated or lacking evidence. Now,
hey, Goodens Otto, how you feeling?
That's an interpretation by someone writing on the internet. So,
yes, this is like for entertainment purposes only.
Yeah, those of us that go out and look for these things, I know quite a few people that have seen these things in person, and they know the difference between a dog and a cryptid, and there's slight variations. Like the dog-like looking ones are said to have more human-like hands, but then have paws on their back legs. So they are ambidextrous. where they can grab like we do. There are some reports where people have caught something. It turns out to be like a rabid raccoon with mange. Of course, you can mistake that. The raccoon has opposable fingers, so but at the same time, I've seen footage of ones that they said was probably a rabid mangy raccoon, and the fingers were not like a mangy rabid raccoon. They were more fatty on the ends.
Belinda. Oh yeah, Belinda. Have a good night, honey,
Yeah.
or a good day.
Yeah, have a good day, Belinda. It's good seeing you in here, as always. Let's see. Let's see. Southern United States have been verified as canids afflicted by mange. Now, like we said, the name can literally be translated to goat sucker.
Is there such thing as a goat man?
Yes. We will be covering that in a future episode. Let's see. The latter, let's see. The Americas with the former being the original name and the latter a regularization. So you have chupacabras and chupacabra. At least that's what this says. Let's see. The name is attributed to Puerto Rican comedian Silverio Perez, who coined the label in 1995 while commenting on the attacks as a San Juan radio DJ. The history: in 1975, a series of livestock killings in the small town of Moca, Puerto Rico, were attributed to El Vampiro de Moca, the vampire of Moca. Initially, it was suspected that the killings were committed by a satanic cult. Later, more killings were reported around the island, and many farms reported loss of animal life. Each of the animals was reported to have had its body bled dry through a series of small circular incisions. And once again, this is for entertainment purposes only.
Sparky has a question for you.
Sparky has a question. Okay. Tell me if I'm wrong, but didn't they try and explain those that were found dead as mange and birth defect due to inbreeding or rare genetic defects with mange? Yeah, they tried to discredit it with that explanation. Now, like I was saying earlier, that there have been some that have been discounted as dogs with mange, but that doesn't mean every single one is a dog with mange. The people that report it, it's either alien-like with scales, or it has lizard skin, or it has what looks like mange. The color of the skin varies. Like the witness that we talked to said was gray and black. Now, granted, she saw it in the dark of night. Excuse me, with just a lamppost lighting up the area. Let's see, where was I? Okay. Each of the animals was reported to have had its body bled and dry through a series of small circular incisions, 3 to be exact. The first reported attack eventually attributed to the actual chupacabras occurred in March 1995. 8 sheep were discovered unalived in Puerto Rico, each with 3 puncture wounds in the chest area, and reportedly completely drained of blood. A few months later, in August, an eyewitness named Madeline Tolentino reported seeing the creature in the Puerto Rican town of, sorry, Figgy, if I mispronounce this, Canovanas, Canovanas.
Palito medicine.
Where as many as 150 farm animals and pets were reportedly unalived. Tansi, Ramona. If you're just joining us now, we are talking about chupacabra. Yeah. Okay. Like it was saying in here with the incisions.
Good night, Romans. Have a good night, hon.
Good night, Romans. Good to see you. Take care. The incisions were made, and this report says they were completely drained of blood. Well, come to find out, that's not exactly true. They were mostly drained of blood, to the point to where they passed, but they weren't completely drained. I've read other reports that say they weren't completely drained. Okay, Puerto Rican comedian and entrepreneur Silvio Perez is credited with coining the term chupacabra soon after the first incidents were reported in the press. Shortly after the first reported incidents in Puerto Rico, other animal deaths were reported in other countries, such as Argentina, Bolivia, Brazil, Chile, Colombia, Dominican Republic, El Salvador, Honduras, Mexico, Nicaragua, Panama, Peru, and the United States. In 2019, a video recorded by Mundo OVNI showed the results of a supposed attack of chickens in the Ceburuquillo sector of I'm pronouncing it wrong, I'm sorry, but Lares, Puerto Rico.
It's funny, the reports are similar to those of vampire bat reports as many times with the bite. So 3 or 4 puncture wounds. Yeah, I guess I don't know nothing about that
makes
either.
The wound numb, then the turn and bite. So 3 to 4 puncture wounds. Yeah. Yep. Let's see. Reputed origin. Now.
Wait a second. Is Mike going live tonight? Sorry, Belinda said something and my mind went squirrel. So I'm sorry.
Yeah. Reputed origin. A 5-year investigation by Benjamin Radford, documented in his 2011 book, Tracking the Chupacabra, concluded that the description given by the original eyewitness in Puerto Rico, Madeline Tolentino, was based on the creature Sill in the 1995 science fiction horror film Species.
Hey, Kat. What spot? Where you going there, Pink? Good luck. Have a good night, Pink Pixie.
Headed to the spot. Cool.
Not sure what the spot is, but good luck, girl.
Good luck.
Okay.
The alien creature Sill is nearly identical to Tolentino's Chupacabra eyewitness account, and she had seen the movie before her report. It was a creature that looked like the Chupacabra, with spines on its back and all. The resemblance to the Chupacabra was really impressive. Now, may or may not have been a coincidence that she had reported the creature looking like so. There are situations, times where someone will report something that looks similar to something that was in a movie. Doesn't exactly mean that it was what they saw, and then they're like, oh well, I'm just going to say it looked like this. It could also be just a coincidence, like when the Patterson Gimlin film came out. All kinds of people then started like, well, it looked like Patterson Gimlin. Well, guess what? I saw a Bigfoot that looked exactly like Patty. It was a Bigfoot. So somebody made a film of something, and then someone else had a similar experience with something that looked similar, or maybe exact. Doesn't mean that it was fake.
It's funny, as some say that this cannot be real, but we have smaller animal that does the same thing, so it's possible and historical in the southern regions. Yes.
Yep.
I just wanted to stop by and give my greetings. I'm really tired, been up very early dealing with stuff. Good night. Ramona, we love you.
Yeah.
God bless you. Hi.
Yeah. Take care. Get some rest. And we'll see you on your next live if we can catch it.
If someone throws it to us. No, I'm just kidding.
No, I usually run into it.
Does. I'm giving you.
Because she's usually on around noontime.
I know. So I'm normally at work.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry.
Okay. Let's see. Alien creature nearly identical to Tolentino's Chupacabra eyewitness account, and she had seen the movie. Okay, we already said that. Okay. Tolentino reported Radford revealed that Radford revealed that Tolentino believed that the creature that she saw in Puerto Rico at the time, and therefore concludes that the most important Chupacabra description cannot be trusted. This, Radford believes, seriously undermines the credibility of the Chupacabra as a real animal. The reports of blood sucking by the Chupacabra were never confirmed by a necropsy. I should sorry if I mispronounced it. The only way to conclude that the animal was drained of blood, Dr. David Morales, a Puerto Rican veterinarian with the Department of Agriculture, analyzed 300 reported victims of the Chupacabra and found that they had not been bled dry. Like I said earlier, it was false reporting on being bled dry, but they were mostly bled.
Welcome back, Pink Pixie. We are so glad you're here. So he's not going live tonight. She thought that my cornbread was going live tonight, so she left and then decided to come back and visit some more. Yay!
I believe he has one scheduled for tomorrow.
I don't know. I get confused with his stuff, so I'm like, whatever.
Let's see. Radford divided the Chupacabra reports into two categories: the reports from Puerto Rico and Latin America, where animals were attacked, and it is supposed that their blood was extracted, and the reports in the United States of mammals, mostly dogs and coyotes with mange, that people call Chupacabra due to their unusual appearance. Again, that's up for interpretation.
An unusual appearance.
In 2010, University of Michigan biologist Barry O'Connor concluded that all the Chupacabra reports in the United States were simply coyotes infected with the parasite Sarcoptes scabiei, I should say, whose symptoms would explain most of the features of the Chupacabra. They would be left with little fur, thickened skin, and a rank odor. O'Connor theorized that the attacks on goats occurred because these animals are greatly weakened, so they're going to have a hard time hunting, so they may be forced into attacking livestock because it's easier than running down a rabbit or a deer. Both dogs and coyotes can unalive uh, uh, and not consume the prey, either because they are inexperienced or due to injury or difficulty in unaliving the prey. The prey can survive the attack and die afterwards from internal bleeding and circulatory shock. The presence of 2 holes in the neck corresponding with the canine teeth are to be expected, since these are the only way that most land carnivores have to catch their prey.
Okay. Before you go any further, Wolf Lady and Sparky have said things there.
Hopefully, go ahead.
No, I'm just letting you know so you can see what she said.
Go ahead and read it.
Wolf Lady says, I believe that they come from the Puerto Rico, have experimental lab and biggest static. I can't. I don't know. I don't know. Go ahead.
Biggest.
I don't know.
She says, satellite ever. Seems like dark government. They know. Yeah.
Well, I think I'm not gonna go there. It'll be a rabbit hole that I don't want to go down.
Sparky says, if I remember right, that those that feed on blood have low immune systems and low iron, why they crave blood. Yeah.
She said that she'd find that lady for us.
Okay. Yeah, that'd be cool.
And it says the rancher who has one taxidermy in Texas is also a vet.
Yeah. Yeah. She her and her husband discovered that in their yard. And of course they killed it or unalived it, I should say.
Unalived it.
But there was also a couple that captured one that was alive, a small one, in a animal trap, and it was on the news. But of course, scientists said that was probably a raccoon with mange.
Sorry. I guess I haven't seen the one in Texas.
Yeah, it's called Boom Boom Nap.
Boom Boom Nap. Okay.
You know, have to go by YouTube regulations, of course. Let's see.
Just why it's for entertainment purposes only.
Okay. There are reports of stray Mexican hairless dogs being mistaken for chupacabras also. Now, we all know what a Mexican hairless dog looks like. I can see someone not knowing what a Mexican hairless dog is, mistaking it for a chupacabra.
Do you have a picture of a Mexican hairless dog?
Not at the moment.
Oh. Okay.
You can Google it.
I can Google it. I probably could.
Yep.
Would I freak out?
Find the one that I saw earlier today.
Maybe. I don't know. We'll see.
The most common description, okay, this is appearance now. The most common description of chupacabra is that of a reptile-like creature said to have leathery or scaly greenish-gray skin and sharp spines or quills running down its back. It is said to be approximately 3 to 4 feet, 0.9 to 1.2 millimeters.
Question. Why would anyone want a hairless dog?
I don't know.
They are ugly.
It's just a craze, I guess.
Can I show them a picture of it?
Yeah, go ahead.
Mm-hmm. Is this what you were looking at earlier?
No, but that's something you can show everybody. It's a version of, hey, face to face. How you doing?
Hey, Face to Ace. How's it
Face
going,
to Ace.
buddy?
I said face to face.
Face to face.
It's
Face
the
the Ace. Well,
not sure if it was Texas.
okay. How do I do this?
Right there.
That's a Mexican hairless dog.
Yeah. Okay. Arcane says,
I'm sorry.
not sure if it was Texas, but one that made the news media did very much look like a raccoon with very severe mange. Yeah. That's the one I was talking about. Also, I can't find the picture, but I had it on Facebook when I was living in Lawton, Oklahoma. Someone had spotted a what looked like a Mexican hairless dog, but it had a little bit different ears on it, and the front paws were a little abnormal. So everybody freaked out about that, but no one ever caught the creature. Just one person saw it, took one picture of it, and then it ran off. Let's see, appearance. It stands and hops in a fashion similar to that of a kangaroo. This description was the chief one given to the few Puerto Rican reports in 1995 that claims to have sighted the creature, with similar reports in parts of Chile and Argentina following. Another common description of the chupacabra is of a strange breed of wild dog. This form is mostly hairless and has a pronounced spinal ridge, unusually pronounced eye sockets, fangs, and claws. This description started to appear in the early 2000s from reports trailing north of the Yucatan Peninsula and northern Mexico and then into the United States, becoming the predominant description since. Unlike conventional predators, the chupacabra is said to drain all of the animal's blood and sometimes organs, usually through 3 holes in the shape of a downwards pointing triangle, but sometimes through only 1 or 2 holes. Let's see.
I'm looking for that picture of the El Chupacabra on that you've had.
Face the Ace said they're United States military in Puerto Rico. Yeah.
Oh.
Cool.
Cool. Well, thank you for your service. That's awesome. So you've seen what we're saying?
Yeah.
Sorry.
Okay. Plausibility of existence. The chupacabra panic first started in late 1995 in Puerto Rico. Farmers were mass reporting the mysterious killings of various livestock. In these reports, the farmers recalled 2 puncture wounds on the animals' carcasses. Chupacabra unalivings were soon associated with the seemingly untouched animal carcass other than puncture wounds, which were said to be used to suck the blood out of the victim. Reports of such unalivings began to spread around and eventually out of the country, reaching areas such as Mexico, Brazil, Chile, and the southern area of the United States. Most notably, these areas experienced frequent and extreme dry seasons in the cases of Puerto Rican reports of 1995 and the Mexican reports of 1996. Both countries were currently experiencing or dealing with the aftermath of severe drought. Investigations carried out in both countries at this time noted certain dramatic violence in the unalivings. Let's see. Yeah, Sparky says he heard
She's heard
stories in Mexico.
Yeah, that's cool. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm trying to find that one that you found on Facebook. So I'm looking.
Sparky says Chupacabra predates the Dogman, from what I know. Yeah, yeah, they predate the sightings of Dogmen. Let's see, these environmental conditions could provide a simple explanation for the livestock unalivings, wild predators losing their usual prey to the drought, therefore being forced to hunt the livestock of farmers for subsistence. Thus, the same theory can be applied to many of the other chupacabra attacks, that the dry weather had created a more competitive environment for native predators, leading them to prey on the livestock to survive. Such an idea can also be explained in the increased violence in the unalivings. Hungry and desperate predators are driven to hunt livestock to avoid starvation, causing an increase in both the number of livestock unalivings and the viciousness of each one. And Arcane says, Dogman has been around for centuries, but I would love to hear a Chupacabra account from prior to the 20th century. Yeah, I would too.
Prior to the 20th century?
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yep. Like Misty said, that's a good point. Let's see. Evidence of such is provided in page 179 of Benjamin Radford's book, Tracking the Chupacabra, the Vampire Beast in Fact, Fiction, and Folklore. Radford's chart highlights 10 significant reports of chupacabra attacks, 7 of which had a carcass recovered and examined. These autopsies concluded the causes of death as various animal attacks, as displayed through the animal DNA found on the carcasses. Radford provides further evidence in pages 161 and 162 of his book, displaying animals who are proven to have fallen victim to regular coyote attacks, thus explaining that it is not unusual for an animal carcass to be left uneaten while only displaying puncture wounds and or minimal signs of attack.
Sharon Guy says she has never heard one, only been hearing about the chupacabra for about the last 40 years.
Yeah.
The Dogman terror, there's
their food up. They just don't take blood. Yeah. That's true.
So, wait, I would take blood. Kidding. I have to make it funny somehow or another.
Howdy, Griff.
Griff, how are you, buddy?
Good to see you.
Yes, and I can't find that babe. It's taking me for Neverland.
The plausibility of the chupacabra's existence is also discredited by the varying descriptions of the creature. Depending on the reported sighting, the creature is described with thick skin or fur, wings or no wings, a long tail or no tail, is bat-like, dog-like, or even alien-like. Evidently, the chupacabra has a wide variety of descriptions, to the point where it's hard to believe that all the sightings are of the same creature. A very likely explanation for this phenomenon is that individuals who had heard of the newly popular chupacabra had the creature's name fresh in their mind, yada, yada, yada. Before they happen to see a strange-looking animal. They then resort to make sense of their encounter by labeling it as the recently discovered monster instead of a more realistic explanation. For example, some scientists hypothesize that What many believe to be a chupacabra is a wild or domestic dog affected by mange, a disease causing thick buildup of skin and hair loss. Okay, before we get into the last part,
That's why I question the origin. Are they strictly cryptid? Cryptid.
or genetically engineered. Government oops. I don't believe in new cryptids unless government had a hand. Yeah, yeah, I agree with that statement. Let's see.
Jim. Cammy's working late tonight, by the way.
Yeah, she's working late. Let's see. Related legends now. The Ozark Howler, a large bear-like animal, is the subject of a similar legend. The
Never mind.
The Puchins of Chile also share similarities in the supposed habits, but instead of being dog-like, they are described as winged snakes. This legend may have originated from the vampire bat, an animal endemic to the region. In the Philippines, the Sigbin shares many of the chupacabra's descriptions. In 2018, there were reports of suspected chupacabras in Manipur, India. Many domestic animals and poultry were killed in a manner similar to the chupacabra attacks, and several people reported that they had seen creatures.
Good night, Jim.
Night, Jim.
Sleep well. And even though you have coffee way early in the morning, I will try to watch it. But later.
Yeah.
Because you're at like 5:45.
Yeah, at that time she's tossing and turning from the alarm going off, and she
Shut
don't want to
your
get
face. My alarm goes off at 6:30. Shut up. I don't want to get up that early though. But it goes off that early.
Let's see. Forensic experts
Sassy quit.
opined that street dogs were responsible for mass killings, unalivings of domestic animals and poultry after studying the remnants of the corpse.
Strange critters in them woods. In the Ozarks. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wolf lady. Yeah, he knows about the Ozarks. He was kind of, that's where his family's from.
Yeah. I've spent some time in there. But very little time I spent there, I saw some weird stuff. Human and not human.
I'm not going down that rabbit hole either.
A lot of nice people in the Ozarks, though.
Yeah, Sharon,
Yeah.
I know. If I did that, I'd be asleep already.
Yeah, at 4 a.m. I remember having to get up that early.
Huh?
Oh.
Yeah, she's putting up chairs.
It's time
Come now, please.
to go get Cammy. I guess this is where I can put the
drop the link so maybe
link in the
other
chat.
people come be your co-host.
If anybody wants to join me up here on stage, hit the link in the chat that I just posted. Remember, you don't have to keep the camera on. You can stop the camera just like this. So you don't have to show your face. But we'd like to hear your voice. If anybody has a voice, an opinion about tonight's subject. The packets. It's that the unicorn flavor. Yeah. Yeah. If anybody wants to come up and talk about cryptids, you want to talk about Bigfoot, Dogman, Pigman, Deerman, Deer Woman, or we don't have to talk about cryptids. We can talk about something else. Just whatever y'all feel like talking about. Let's see. Dogman or werewolves have been sighted centuries and all the way back to continents across the pond. Yeah.
All right, I'll be right back.
She'll be back, everybody. Let's see. Sparky says, yep, kind of, but they were not dogmen. They were natural creature that took on the form. So a little different.
Yeah.
My blood pressure is dropped. They're even sky high. I don't know which one it is.
What's wrong, Bubba?
Yeah. I agree with there have been reports of dog / human like creatures going back centuries. Yeah, Mike does a lot of research. I try to fit in as much time for it as I can. But if you ain't got time to do all the research, there's the internet. But yeah, I tried to cram in as much research as I could after I had the interview yesterday evening. But yeah, one other thing, me and Christy will hopefully have a new area to do some research, some boots on the ground. Pretty soon, we just have to get new tires for our vehicle. But I was in contact with somebody that said that they wouldn't mind us doing research on their property, but it's not 100% yet. Hopefully it will be. Who we got coming up here? Oh, Sparky. Hey, how you doing, Sparky?
What's up?
How you been?
Good. You got a good conversation going on the live right now. That's going between, Dogman and this guy. It's like it's really interesting going both ways, and the chat's just going off.
Oh yeah,
it was really cool.
Yeah, I tend to believe in the chupacabra because I've seen some other weird creatures from Mexico. I've actually seen pictures taken by people that were from deep in Mexico, and they have some weird winged creatures. I saw a picture of one. This one lady showed us a picture of it was about the size of a bat, and it had no fur, and it had wings like a dragon.
And I think I've seen that one.
Yeah,
there is one that I've seen that's kind of like that. They have a lot of weird stuff coming out of there. And the fact it's just historical, skeleton evidence, you can't really argue with it, number one.
Right.
Then you have all the tales coming back from historical, like long ago, that just passed down by verbal communication for historical, that you really can't argue with. So a chupacabra, I don't think, I know a lot of people argue with it. It's like, really? But it's like, it's not that far-fetched. We have animals that can do that now.
Yeah.
We're just talking about one that's a little bit bigger.
Mm-hmm.
And whether it's an offshoot or it's some kind of genetic offshoot of a dog or whatever, I don't think anybody can really argue that it cannot exist. It's just,
Right.
Can we catch one that's still alive to
Right.
prove it exists?
Right. There have been some that have been caught and they were proven to be dogs with mange, or raccoons with mange.
But there's some that, like, there's photos that came out of Mexico that was like, that is not a normal dog.
Right.
It's like, it doesn't have mange, because mange, you have loss of hair, you have rashes, you have scabs. It's scaly, number one, and has a weird, I want to say that, quills coming off the spine,
Right.
which is not normal in any mange.
Right.
There's a lot of different reports and a lot of different, both visual and historical, and actually bodies that have been found that they
Mhm.
can't really explain. And that's why I was trying to, like,
Right.
all these reports are going mange, inbreeding, or genetic problems. It's like, you can't have that much to go over so many years to say that's just a problem.
Right. Yeah. Amber says, I can't talk at the moment, but I do have a question to debate. I grew up on the west side of Lake Fort Gibson, spent so much time on the Three Lakes and Little River, and never have seen a thing. I'm glad.
But what's the question in debate, though?
Well, see, being in an area where you would see a lot of questionable creatures.
Yeah, but that's also like winning the lotto.
Right.
I mean, I lived in a dead end road in the Cascades in Washington State. Bigfoot Central. I have heard him. I've had rocks thrown at me. I've had trees pushed down. I had a lot of encounters. The only thing I saw of him was glowing eyes one time.
Yeah.
And I was out there all the time. I mean, like, I lived in the woods. So it's kind of like,
right.
Even if you're out there all the time, you're still trying to win the lotto. Because number one, they're going to know you're there before they're there. So it's like, I get what she's saying, but you could be, good example, if you go down to any Forest Service, I can't remember which one actually did it, but they have studies about their animals in their area.
Right.
They had a study that said, what was it, 20% or 30% of all people that walk on paths in the woods, hiking paths, all that kind of stuff, have a cougar watching them. They never see it.
Right.
So 1 out of 100 people see a cougar, but 30 cougars see a human out of every 100. Mm-hmm. It's one of those things. It's like, again, winning the lotto.
Yeah. Yeah. I guess I can consider myself one of the lucky ones that when I used to go into the Wichita Mountains, every single time I went out there, I either saw a cougar, coyotes, or Bigfoot. Now, seeing a Bigfoot, that's not, like being face to face like my first encounter, but seeing them hiding behind something, seeing their eye shine, seeing them walk the other direction. Yeah, I've seen all the above.
Right.
But never once out in the Wichita Mountains did I ever come face to face with one, except when I was laying in a tent and I had the zipper down and was looking
I've had some
to
weird
that.
stuff on a tent where they play with the top of the tent.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
that's still not,
a good example is I had a guy tell me he saw a dog man. And I was like, okay, what do you see? And he's like, it was a wolf, but it was bigger than a wolf. I'm like, okay, how big? And he's like, it was like double size of like a shepherd. And I'm like, okay. He was kind of central. He was like Nebraska or something. I'm like, you guys do have wolves down there, but we do have timber wolves that travel. So rarity, you guys actually see timber wolves. I'm like, I can tell you, I have timber wolves in my backyard. They're 9 feet from nose to tail. If you see one of those, you think you saw a werewolf. I mean,
Right.
they're ginormous.
Yeah.
And it's like, did it stay on all fours? Did it like, and he's like, well, yeah. I'm like, well, it might be identifying that one animal. I'm not saying it's not. I'm just saying is like all the, like in law enforcement, the worst evidence we have is eyewitness.
Right. Like an animal that large, if you're
Number one, your brain just goes, what I see.
You're seeing it from a distance, and then you're seeing it like behind a tree, and then all of a sudden you think it stands up. Well, it could be just leaning up on a rock, on a boulder, and then appear to be standing up.
Now there's some that I've talked to, like I've talked to Tex, a couple other guys, and when they're like, no, this thing was like, it was upright. And I'm like, you sure it wasn't like a Bigfoot? And they're like, no, it has snout. I'm like, okay, now we have an issue.
Right.
Because that doesn't fit anything in a box.
Right.
So, I mean, and the Chupacabra, I think it's one of those kind of like Bigfoot. It's been around for so long, and I know it got popular here, late, but the Hispanic people have been talking about that for a very long time. And they've actually warned I worked in, my family had an orchard, apple orchard. And so we had people coming up from Mexico to actually work at an orchard. We had this great family. There was like 20 of them that come up every year. Awesome people. But the grandmother was always worried that we had the dogs out. And I'm like, there's nothing here. Like, trust me. It's like, everything is way away from us. There's nothing going to be here. And she's like, no, I want to be warned. I'm like, why? And then she told me, I'm like, oh, yeah, we don't have those up here.
Right.
So again, it's like a lot of the stuff we talk about, I look at it as historical lore, like historical past like 20, 30 years, where multiple generations have actually seen this, have talked about this, everything else. And then you move on from that of like, how many sightings have we had? What proof do we have? Chupacabra is a good one. It's like so many dead bodies, so many photographs.
Yeah. Yeah. And then you have creatures that have recently been discovered, like the panda bear. Okay.
Yeah.
It goes back centuries of the folklore of the panda bear, and local people around the villages there in China, their horror stories of their children being dragged off into the woods,
right?
And then coming across these creatures, but those creatures were never seen by anyone from the West.
We have, I think we're up to like 10 fish we thought were extinct. They just showed up. We have the giant squid that was a cryptid. It never existed, And all of a sudden, now we got on film. Now we're finding them. The gilded deer. So the deer, I think it's in Vietnam, but has the gills on its snout. They thought that was a fake. That was just a cryptid, historical, whatever, until they found it and caught it. The gorilla in China. I mean, there's so many, I think we do have a lot of animals that we haven't even found yet. So everything is on the table, I give a lot of crap to people about Dogman because he's a newer cryptid, but again, it's like, I don't doubt he could be real.
Right.
And for all the accounts that people talk about, I mean, they're kind of like Bigfoot. They come in different sizes, different shapes, different colors. It's like, you can't you can't throw anything out until you have to throw it out. So
Right.
I think it's a cool time for us because how much we are finding out now, and especially scientifically, audio is getting better, video is getting better. We're having better. We have a ton of people just trying new things out of the box, which I love.
Right.
It's like, don't do the same thing. Try something totally out of the box, you know? And it's a cool time for us that are into the weird.
Yeah. The only thing that's the downfall is AI. There's so many fake stuff. It's unbelievable.
And that's why a lot of times, like, the one thing I look at is like when people catch stuff, is it on the regular every time they go out? Is it like 3 or 4 times every time they go out? And it's like, well, that is, you can't hit the lotto that many times unless you're in like a very specific spot.
Right.
And you've known them for a long time kind of thing. So I always look at that. All the ones that come across my feed, if I don't know them, I don't even look at it, to be honest with you. It's like you have to build trust with your investigators and realize it's like they are trying to be as honest as possible and throw out anything that could be something else. And then you can take that and learn from that and try to figure out what it is.
Right.
Explain it or you can't. And that's the cool part when you can't.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. The Wolf Lady says, my place on an ancient game trail that's part of the reason I see up close and personal werewolves and other because I live right on the water between 2 lakes and a river. Yeah. Any body of water, something like that will be attracted to it because, you know, where there's water, there's life, you know.
And if she said an ancient trail, so that might be a Native American kind of trail. So there is another dog man like thing within their Native Americans. They're kind of like lumping them together because they are very close. The only problem is like some Native Americans say Bigfoot and Dogman together and they're good with each other, and others say they don't. Arcane said, Sparky, how far back do you think Bigfoot legend goes? I don't know. It's like I don't want to say a date. I think that the farthest dated pictograph we have from Native Americans was in Arizona, and it's a long time back, and they have a drawing of what looks like a Bigfoot.
Right.
So since they came across on the land bridge, it looks like they knew they were here. Mm-hmm. And again, a lot of people were like, you know, is Bigfoot the same as Yeti and skunk ape and the China one and all that kind of stuff? I'm like, well, if you think about it, we traveled everywhere and we all changed.
Yeah.
So do they, you know.
Yeah.
It makes the most sense anyways.
Yeah, that makes the most sense of it all. I mean, there's so many different species of almost every living animal.
Oh yeah, and they're just a hair different.
Yeah.
Like what is it, the hobbits they found on that little island with miniature elephants? I mean, it kind of shows you is like you get to a certain spot and everybody just kind of like morphs to that spot, whether it be hot, cold, small, whatever.
Yeah. Yeah, climate really determines the shape and size,
color, aggression. A lot of people talking about why is Bigfoot more aggressive in some areas than the others. It's like, well, you got to look at territorial. It's like, depending on where they're at, it's just like, you know, in or Washington, California, Idaho, they're a little different than they are back east.
Right.
And it's because of their terrain, their tribal groups in their lands and all that kind of stuff. It kind of goes to the same thing as the Native Americans. When you look at Native Americans back in the day, throughout our country, they had different temperaments of if they were like chill with people or they're like, get that heck out kind of thing.
Yeah. And then, you know, you have ancient scripture, ancient texts that tells about the same kind of creatures we're dealing with today.
Yeah. Like the Yeti has been documented forever in verbal history and then documented in written history. I mean, as far as back as they can go.
Right. Let's see.
And to me, that's just a really big, cold Bigfoot.
Yeah, Pink Pixie says, O.C.S.T, can you tell me about seeing Bigfoot? Never heard you tell it. Well,
There you go.
I'll give a brief summary. I do have several links in some of my past videos where I have given interviews with other channels. My best one, I would say, is on Spotify, and that was with Vic Cundiff. I dwelled into everything, just about everything that I've had happen in my life, and a little part of it's Bigfoot, and a big part of it is paranormal. But you know, I don't get the chance to do a whole lot of paranormal research. I'm looking to do that in the future. But as far as Bigfoot, now Pink Pixie, back in 2012, I was staying at my brother's, me and my mom, and it was believe it or not, a lot of people will say, well, that doesn't sound right. It was on Halloween night in 2012. It was a full moon. You have the harvest moon around that time. So October 31st, 2012, and it was 11:30 at night. I decided I wanted to go outside and take pictures of the full moon. I was going to do that, and I didn't check my phone, and my phone was dead. So I had to plug it into charge, but I decided I want to go outside and look at the moon anyways. I went outside, was leaning on the fence, looking up at the moon, and all of a sudden I smelled the classic smelled like a skunk and a dead wet dog. Kind of, really nasty. 10 seconds later, right beside me, out walks a big white hairy creature, and an even bigger brownish copperish colored creature right next to him. And the white creature was not even a foot away from me. We almost touched elbows because I felt the hair on me, and that's kind of what made me turn. And when I looked up, I saw a 7-foot tall, what I now know, I used to think it was a dog man, but what I now know that it was a googway. And if you know what a googway looks like, you don't want to be standing that close to one. But then on the opposite side of him, because this googway was a male, because I saw everything, but on the other side of him, other side of his left shoulder, was a 9-foot tall female Sasquatch. She was the brown copperish colored one. Like I said earlier, looked like Patty from the Patterson-Gimlin film. Almost identical. Just a little bit more human features in the face. The nose was a little bit more human than Patty's. But almost exact. The way I knew she was 9 feet tall, she was standing right in front of my neighbor's shed that they had on their property, which was only feet away from me. And that shed was 8 feet tall, and she stood a whole foot above that. So, long story short, the male, which was the white googway, which he was albino because he had all the classic look of an albino with the red eyes and the pink skin and the white hair. But long story short, he was getting upset. I backed off maybe 2 steps. She noticed after she tried speaking to me, she did her little, turned the head like this and, and I didn't answer back because I was like in shock. But that's when I stepped back. I stepped back. The Googway is getting mad and he's huffing and puffing and just, so she shoves him in the back. He stumbles, takes off walking towards the alleyway, which is about 30 yards away. He stops there in the alleyway. She looks at me and kind of is like, well, I guess I got to go. And she takes off walking after him. She gets in behind him. Right before she turns around behind him, the male looks at me and flexes and is like, loud, very, very loud. And she noticed that, so she shoves him again, this time harder, and he almost falls on his face, but he catches his feet. But then they both walk side by side out into the darkness. That's long story short. That's
So when did you clean out your pants?
actually the whole experience wasn't. It didn't make me. I wasn't scared. I was a little nervous because had that creature huffing and puffing next to me, and he could have just reached out and but she prevented that. So I accredit her for saving my life because
that's a display.
Yeah. Yeah, and he had super long fangs, and when his mouth dropped open and his tongue fell to the side, and he's just drooling, and then you can see the sweat beating up on his body, up on his chest and all that, and he's just going.
So were you around this place a lot before? Like she knew you were okay, kind of thing?
Every day when I go to work for probably about 6 weeks, every morning, when I go to work, the apple trees that were about 3 houses down would shake. Okay. And then when I come home from work, it was usually in the dark. I have no flashlight or nothing. There's no light in the alleyway, but I'm going ahead and I'm walking down the alleyway, and the apple trees would shake. Couldn't see nobody. But the one time before they made their appearance to me, the apple trees were shaking. I was getting home from work and I turned down that alley. The apple tree started shaking really bad. And then there was something moving in the long grass along the fence line in the alleyway. And I'm like, I'm just here to cut through. I'm going home. I'm not going to bother you. Please don't bother me. I walk home. And then later that night was when I had that experience.
Makes sense.
And
she already knew that you weren't a threat then at that point.
Right. So I took it as she's probably been watching me over a long period of time, because what it was down there, there's some canals, some man-made canals, to keep from flooding. And, they're all made of cement.
Drainage.
The drainage canals, they go all the way through the center of Lawton. And at that one park, which was about 3 blocks away from my brother's house, that's where they all would drain into and then go downtown and then out into the rural area.
Oh,
well, so they had a place to come from, and that creek there connects to the Red River. It winds all the way down through all the rural area, all the way down to the Red River. So they have plenty of cover to travel. Not so much when you get into Fort Sill. You go to Fort Sill, then that creek kind of becomes an underground creek.
Right.
But it's not too far from the mountains. So at
So
night,
they could follow that all the way down.
yeah, they could follow that all the way down. At night, they could easily go from the last bridge that actually has a canal underneath it, and then walk out in the open in pitch black darkness into the mountains.
It's funny they did that with the apple trees. So where I grew up we're all orchardists. We all did apple trees, and our best buddy actually had one on the very end of where it became Forest Service land. It was a big freaking mountain.
Mhm.
And every year he would have something picking apples off the back end of his orchard. And so he started picking that first, and then he realized they would totally demolish bins, stuff would be just like overturned. And he was like, you know what? If they want it, I'm gonna leave it. So he left an acre in the very corner back by that mountain. He never picked it. By the end of the year, before they were rotten, all the apples were gone.
Wow.
It was kind of strange.
Yeah. The lady that lived next door, she told me and my mom one time, she says she had some friends that would visit at night, so not to be alarmed, but she would leave a plate of food for them every single night. Well, that's apparently that's what those two Bigfoot were doing when they happened to stop right next to me. They finished eating from the plate because that's where they came from. Was that shed? So
it's their own little gifting chair.
Yeah,
it's like, don't get in between me and the gifting chair.
Oh yeah. After I saw those two things, I'm like, that's automatically clicked in my head. Oh, I've just met her friends.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
cool
as soon as that
encounter
was
though.
over,
Holy crap.
As soon as that was over, when they started walking down the alleyway, then I spoke. I had a lot to say after that. When I knew they were far enough away to where I could actually probably make it to my brother's back door, I yelled out, "F this, I'm going to get my bat." And I ran inside and I told my brother, said, "You won't believe what I just saw." And he's like, "What'd you see?" I said, 2 Bigfoot. And he's like, no. I'm like, no, where's my bat? Where's my bat? So I grabbed my bat and I ran out the front door and went into the alleyway and stood there, and all gone.
Yeah.
Nothing, no sign of them. I checked for footprints. There were no footprints because it's mostly gravel back in there and
right.
pretty hard ground. Yeah. If you go check out Red Dirt Cryptids.
Yeah.
I actually was interviewed by a buddy of mine who's a member of Red Dirt Cryptids.
On this whole thing?
Yeah. Yeah. I was interviewed.
Let me see if I can find it so I can throw it in the link.
Yeah.
Or in the group here.
If you check that out, I tell about that whole encounter. It's just me and one other guy. He's interviewing me. We go to the park where I suspect that they came from, and then we follow the creek on out to the town of Geronimo.
Yeah.
And believe it or not, while we're there, I'm being interviewed. I'm also taking pictures, and I actually caught a Bigfoot down in the creek below the bridge where I was being interviewed at.
No kidding.
Yeah. Yeah. It was a really tall, dark colored one. I couldn't tell exactly what color it was, but it was dark colored, and it was hiding behind one of the big trees that was right near the bridge. It was watching us as we were doing the interview. So
that's crazy.
Oh yeah.
I can't find it. I found Red Dirt, but I'm trying to find your thing to put up. Does any of the mods have that? Oh, CRJ already did it.
Yeah. Yeah, she knows right where it is.
She was like, Sparky, shut up. I got this. That's awesome.
But yeah, if you watch that, it tells the whole shebang of what happened.
That's cool.
We were gonna do a second part, but he's never been able to make it back down there, even though now I live closer to him. So
It's one of those trying to get back together. You kind of forget about it and trying to sync up everything.
Yeah, that and health having a big part of it.
Yep.
He's not been in very good health, and neither had I been for a while. So, but yeah, I went down to, me and Christy went down to I keep forgetting the name of the place. Talahina.
I was gonna say, don't be like me and forget everything. Don't do it.
Yeah, right. Talahina, Oklahoma, which is in the southeast part of Oklahoma. We actually stayed 12 miles from overnight. We stayed one night 12 miles from the Boggy Creek area.
Oh, nice.
And there's a part of the national forest down there that is unkept, except for some gravel drive where you can go and park and camp. And it's really remote. We drove for probably about 22 miles outside of Talahina. So we stayed there with the two men from Red Dirt Cryptids, and then Jamie.
Is that just outside where the museum is there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Bigfoot Museum.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, you got the Bigfoot Museum, which is pretty much near the downtown area, and then you go east on the highway, and you hit the Ouachita Mountains.
Okay.
The southern end of them, and back in there, we went even past that, so we were just on the other side of the foothills and in the deep woods. Of course, we didn't see anything that night, but did hear some stuff.
Nice.
Immediately when I sat down by the campfire, I had a buddy of mine that I just met. He was telling his story, and I heard out my ear, just on the other side of Christy's van, which she locked herself in the van. She didn't want to come out.
Yeah.
But I heard just on the other side of the van in the brush, I heard something say, "We're here." And I told everybody.
So do you think that's spirits, or you think that's Bigfoot?
I don't know, because nobody could see anything. They took out their cameras, of course, and did the night vision and all that. And,
like I think hearing stuff is like golden. If you can hear stuff, you won the lottery already. If you see stuff, like, damn, I mean, you're like one of the lucky ones. But then, like people say, it's like, I'm like, that sounds more, because I'm also into paranormal, as you know. I was like, that sounds more paranormal, because you do get whispers in your ear a lot. I love that. Their question.
Yeah, Pink Pixie. O.C.S.T. How did you not pass out?
Right.
I actually, the female Bigfoot actually kept me pretty calm, because I kept focus on her, but had the other one in my peripheral. So I'm like, I'm watching you, but I'm talking to her.
Okay, so question, because like I've been zapped by Bigfoot. That's not fun. And other people talk about when they get close enough, it's like you get like a mental, like it's okay, or get out. Do you think she was kind of going, like mentally going with you, going, it's okay.
Mm-hmm.
I'm here.
Yeah. I don't think I would have stayed calm otherwise, because usually when I get confronted like that, my old self would have been like, oh no, it's on,
Uh-huh.
you know, even with those two big creatures. But something told me stay calm, because of past experiences I had, like being face to face with the mountain lion.
Yep.
I remembered, you got to stay calm, but if something looks like it's out of the ordinary, react. So that's what I did when I knew he was getting upset. I knew to react, so I backed off. And I don't know if I was far enough away for him not to reach me, but I still backed off away to make myself feel comfortable.
I think if you want to reach it, he could have. I'm just saying.
Right. Oh, yeah. That it was a 4 foot tall chain link fence. So
Oh yeah,
what's that going to do?
that's one step.
Yeah. I'm sure he could have busted through it, no problem. But the weird thing was when I saw them in my peripheral, when they first walked up, there was a skinny tree that was right kind of at this angle behind me, like, it was straight up and down. And I saw the tree in my peripheral, but then I saw the white step forward, and that's what, and I'm leaning down like this, and I'm looking up at the moon. So
Right.
I'm like, I smelled that, and I'm like, ew. And then all of a sudden, I see out my peripheral, I see some white. So I'm like, and then I felt that against me, and I'm like, ooh, okay, stand up. And my first reaction was I looked straight up at him, and I just go, oh, hi.
So Pink's asking, which video is it? So she's trying to actually find the video.
Okay, you'll see me in the thumbnail. You'll see me, and it says Lawton. I believe it says Lawton Man. Something about I don't know. It's been a while since I saw the title, but you'll see me wearing a black shirt with a white Bigfoot, and then the word "believe" down the center.
Yes, Pink. The bat would not have helped him at all.
No, it wouldn't have helped me, but it made me feel better. I had to let out some sort of aggression, because I was holding it all in it was only for about 40 seconds, but still, it was like.
And I think there's a thing. So a lot of people say, like, don't carry guns, don't whatever. And I get that. Like, a lot of the people, because of where they live, number one, it's not necessary. And how they think about that. I live in Idaho, so I have
Dogs.
I have like Boone and Crockett has us having the biggest cougars, biggest black bear. We have timber wolves.
Mm-hmm.
We have grizzlies every once in a while. We have a lot of just like really big things that want to eat you. And so I always carry. There's been a couple of times, one of the last ones where it was right before I got zapped, actually. I was going up beside this mountain, and he was on the other side. If you know what buckbrush is, it's like a really thick, heavy, viney, woody brush.
Mm-hmm.
It goes up to like 6-8 foot tall. Anyways, I was walking right next to it, and I heard him huff at me. And it's like, that's not a deer. That's not a bear. And I actually went to pull my gun, and something told me don't.
Mm-hmm.
Which, like, being in the woods, if you have a predator next to you, you just prepare hoping you don't have to use it.
Right.
Something told me not to do that, and I was like, okay. And so I pulled my pipe out, lit my pipe, and I saw the smoke go right into the bush. I'm like, oh, something just smells me.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, I'm here. Started backing away, and it just took off. And so it's like, a lot of times people talk about weapons. It's like, honestly, I don't think they're scared of it. for the most part.
Right.
And they're going to let you know. It's like, just don't try. You know,
Yeah.
my personal theory.
I do believe that they're aware of it.
Oh, yeah.
And they know what it can do. But being scared of it, I really don't think they are.
From trappers and everything else, people shooting at them, they know what guns are. You know,
me personally, I don't carry a gun out in the woods. I'm armed to the teeth with knives, and bear spray and pepper spray, and but me, I feel flashlights, but
I carry 3 because they'll drain your battery, and I don't like that.
Yeah. Oh, I carry 3 battery packs with me.
Hi, Sparky.
But yeah, me personally, I don't
Thanks,
I don't want to have a gun on me when something like that.
Don't you mean a pew?
Sure.
Yeah. Oh, pew pew. Yeah. But
don't get us in trouble.
And honestly, I think I don't judge anybody because they don't want to, and I don't judge because they can. Right. I think it's a personal preference. I do when I see people carrying them in like cheap nylon holsters and they're not showing they have been trained. I'm like, if you're not willing to actually get training, keep training up, get good hardware for your firearm, as in a strap over holster so it will not fall out, trigger well's covered, hammer's covered, whatever, then just don't. You're going to end up hurting yourself or somebody else.
Yeah.
That's my personal opinion, because, again, I have experience in law enforcement, so I'm pro-gun, but also I'm not pro. I bought a gun. It sits in my office or in my closet for 6 months, and I grab it and throw it on. That's not how you should have a gun.
Right.
Hey, Pink Pixie, did you enjoy his Bigfoot story? The one that I've heard 50,000 times?
Oh, she did.
By the way, I was kidding. I was like, no, not the story. But then I kind of muted you.
I love that comment from Wolf Lady.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I just can't wait until you have your first sighting.
Read the one from Wolf Lady.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, she is going to be on Abnormal Investigations
on the 12th.
On the 12th, talking about her experiences.
Very cool.
And what do you mean you can't wait for me to have my first experience? I'm going to be pooping bricks. Shut your face.
Well, you kind of
have a boulder about that size come at you. Like, they don't want to hit you with it, but they're going to get close.
Yeah.
Have rocks thrown at me.
I've had rocks about like that thrown in my direction, but
let me just tell you, I feel them before I see them. So
yeah, that's what I was gonna say. She actually did have somewhat of a first encounter, because we didn't see it when we were there, but if you watch the one video we have about the parallel forest. It's called Parallel Forest 2. I don't remember why I put 2 on.
Because we had 2 of them.
Okay, well, but that
I think
one.
It's been a hot minute, y'all.
Yeah, I've got like
she just like we had 2.
I've got like 100 videos, and it gets hard to remember the names of them.
Keep them in line. You got.
But in that one, I walked away from her, but still had her within my sight.
Sure.
I walked away from her to film on a path going in one direction, and then I let her go do her thing so she could make a connection with the forest. Well, she then, as I'm walking back towards her, she then says, Harold, can you take a picture over there because I feel something over there? I went and I put the camera in video mode, and well, not quite video mode. I did the multiple caption. Yeah. And I took all kinds of pictures. Well, when I put it in video and you play that part, I have it sequenced where it plays like a video. So you see it go in slow motion, and you see a tree with a limb going kind of like this, and it's all kinds of green leaves all on it. But you see the head and the shoulders, and it's facing her. And she's off to one side, and I'm straight ahead of this thing, right? And I'm filming. Well, it's turned towards her, and then when I start moving off away from her, because I'm trying to get a better angle, it then turns and looks at me and then walks in the same direction I'm going.
Sorry.
You can tell that it's a gray Bigfoot. You can tell that it's a very tall, probably about 8 feet tall, gray Bigfoot.
So it might have been an old one.
Yeah, might have been. And then the very next sequence, me and her go on the trail in that direction where that thing was going. We go on the trail and we come to this little tree. The top of it's busted off. Well, kind of busted off, but barely hanging, and it's
Right.
the classic tree break. Well, and then there's this tree
Basically
with
a break
all
with
kinds
fibers holding it on.
right. Then there's this tree that's got all kinds of flower buds all over it.
Is it flower buds or berries?
It was flower buds and berries, kind of.
Okay, I can't remember.
But I go around the back side of it. I'm telling everybody in slow motion, like, because I sit down for a reason, because what happened right afterwards was we go around that bush, and then there's a large tree break, and then right at the base of that large tree break, there's a couple of trees that have been completely uprooted and then laid down next to the hole where they came from. And I'm pointing that out in the video, and as soon as I point that out in the video, you hear a
and of course we didn't hear it at the time.
Didn't hear it live, but it happened.
Wow.
And then at the end of the video, the same thing happens when we decide it's time to leave, because I had to get out, personal emergency. But
what you're saying is you pooped your pants. That's what you're saying.
Yeah, I got zapped. and it made me lose control.
Thanks, Spark. Thanks.
I got you, bro. I got you.
Thanks, Sparky. Let's tell the whole world.
But when I'm closing out the video,
we all know this stuff. It's okay.
As I'm closing out the video, all this noise starts happening around us, and it sounded like something running in circles around us, and the wind picks up. And then in the video, which I did not hear when I was there live, but in the video, it sounds like something standing right behind me and going in my ear. And then
really?
that's when
and you did not hear it at the time?
Nope, I didn't hear it at the time. I could not hear it at the time. So,
dude, that sounds like Bigfoot and another thing. I'll be honest with you. It does not sound that a lot of that sounds like it's Bigfoot and something else.
Mm-hmm. That area
as paranormal and somebody who's in like the nature spirits and stuff is like it. That sounds like you got like told, hey, why are you here by two different things.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. That area, the parallel forest is known for having things,
which I missed.
Having satanic rituals done. Known for that.
Yeah, we didn't make it that far.
There's been dogmen. There's been dogmen sighted there. There's been Bigfoot sighted there. There's been witches. There's been.
Well, that's okay. So I agree with Arcane about that's why you go before you go.
Yeah, well, Arcane, I told him to go before we went, and guess what?
And yes, Sharon, being zapped will do really weird things to you.
The thing is that And since we had to leave so fast, I was trying to get out of the forest, and thank God he didn't catch this on video because I fell in the mud because it was very, very muddy that day.
We had a couple things in Washington that were kind of weird, and it was kind of the same thing you're talking about, where we had because that was, oh my God, early 90s. And so we had, that's where, stop it, just stop it. You're laughing at me. And so we had where the Wiccan thing really got like in full bore. So you had all these kids trying to do stuff. They had no idea what they were doing. And so we'd go out in law enforcement, we'd find all this weird stuff. And I was already in the paranormal, and you could tell, you could feel like something just off. And it'd be the same spot where later on, big guy would come through and just tear apart a camp or whatever. And it's like, I wonder if they could feel the energy and kind of go on, I either want to go, I want to go there, or I want to go, why is it there? You know, I don't know how those two cross, but I've seen it multiple times. I don't know why. I have no idea why.
Yeah, that I'm gonna tell you now. Right.
And yes, I was like cop in the early 90s. Quit laughing at me. What the hell?
Right when that happened, when we had that whatever it was circling us,
yeah,
I had that feeling like I knew something was there, and I told her that we need to stop, and because we were almost out of the place, and I told her we need to stop. Well, we had noticed that all the cars, there was all kinds of cars there, and they all left. So that debunked the possibility of it being someone starting their vehicle up, because right, probably about 10 minutes before you could hear the first roar in the video, people cleared out. They all cleared out because it was getting towards dusk, and that's when the park closes down. Sure. You're supposed to be out of there, even though some people go in there at night when they're not supposed to and make videos. But
who would do that? Stop
me. But no, that was also at the time where it was illegal to film video in a national park.
Earlier.
Oh.
Yeah, they just recently passed a law where they made it legal to film video in a park. It used to be where you could take pictures, only pictures and not video.
Really?
It's just YouTube for the longest time.
Oh yeah,
didn't enforce. They didn't enforce the law, so to speak. So there's a lot of people that were filming when they weren't supposed to. There was one couple that actually got fined $1,000 because they filmed in a national park without getting a permit. So the way I did it was I would take so many pictures that I could still have it in video form.
Right. Thousands of pictures.
So yeah. So
I've heard about that in California, but that's the only place I've heard about that where they're like no video national parks. Because I'm like, like what?
It's
that's weird.
If you get caught, Jess says.
Yeah.
Well, I think what's interesting is, so there's at least a half a dozen, if not more, things that could have been the whooshing around you and the whispering in your ear and that stuff, but they don't break trees.
Right.
They don't uproot trees.
Right.
They'll make a move. So it's like, it's really interesting. You have a double encounter in one spot. It's very interesting.
Well, see that whole area, you got trees that are all in line. That's why they call it the parallel forest. The government planted all those trees back in the World War II era. They planted all those trees in a line as an experiment against global warming. Well,
wait, wasn't that when they were trying to to stop the deforestation because of lumber. So they're like, we're going to plant stuff. And they're
Yeah.
like, we're going to plant them so it doesn't like drain and all that kind of crap.
They wanted to stop the erosion of land.
Yeah.
So they planted all those in a line, and then also that area out there has a maze where you go in a circle, and it circle, so you go to the center.
Wait, it has a Celtic circle in the trees?
Yeah. But there's a grinding.
Where is this place?
You go to the Wichita Mountains Wildlife Refuge, and it's on the northeast side of it. If you're going towards Mears, you take the road to go to Mears, and off to the left, when you go down that road, there's a little turnoff. You'll miss it if you blink, but you'll see the trees all in a line. Mm-hmm. So you take that turn, you go in a small parking lot, which is usually full.
It's hell parking in there.
Yeah, but
they plan them as like a life circle, a Celtic circle, where it starts off like this and just keeps wrapping all the way to the middle.
The trees are all planted in a row. In every angle is nothing but straight trees.
Yeah,
but the paths were made to go in a circle.
The paths were.
Yeah. The paths
gotcha. Okay, that's still crazy.
There's an altar there, but it's not in the center, and that's what throws people off, and they get lost. Even though it's a small area, they get lost because they're looking for the altar, right? So it makes them go out of the trail and different directions.
Okay, I got to ask, what's the path made of? Is it gravel or is it bark?
It's dirt. It's dirt, and then you got stones along the sides.
From the area stones?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, they're like half buried.
Interesting.
So, yeah, but you
Very
go
wet dirt that day. It was muddy as hell that day that we were there because it had been raining.
If you follow the trail, you'll go all the way to the center. But if you follow the trail to the other side, which is the east side, and you go on the trail that goes out of those trees, you'll go to the altar, which is just a Spanish grinding stone. It's one of about 8 in the whole refuge, but it's been known to be used for satanic ritual. There's all kinds of symbols painted and scratched and drawn, satanic origin.
Wow.
And
that's a whole lot of energy. Like just yeah.
Oh yeah. I've been there several times, and each time is a whole different experience. Yeah. You'll go there expecting nothing.
I don't know how to put that in a box, be honest with you. It's like,
Sparky, you just need to come down and visit it.
Yeah.
That's what you need to do.
You'll go there expecting nothing, and then you're going to be amazed by just the trees alone.
Mm-hmm. The trees are beautiful.
But then on the outskirts of it, you've got trails going here, trails going there, and you can take a trail from the base of Mount Scott, and you can walk that trail, and there's waterfalls in between Mount Scott and the parallel forest. So a lot of people take that trail, and it goes directly into the parallel forest.
okay,
there have been people.
I'm just trying to get this straight. So we have trees planted in rows. So all the trees are in rows.
Yeah, just in that one little area.
They have a dirt road that's lined with rocks from the area that goes in a circular pattern.
Yeah.
And then they have another one that goes off to a altar grinding stone.
Yeah.
And then they have waterfalls really near.
Yeah, up over the hill. If you go back towards the southeast, you go over a hill towards Mount Scott.
Is there a lot of paranormal people that go up there?
Oh yeah.
I was
Oh
gonna
yeah,
say.
all the time, all the time. Yeah, there's quite a few videos on YouTube about it.
Mhm.
Do you know what
Type
Pretty
the?
in,
interesting.
type
What's
in
that?
Wichita Mountains, Oklahoma. You'll find lots of
Wichita
videos out
Mountains.
there. Wichita Mountains. But see, I fell in love with these mountains. I don't understand.
Right.
I fell in love with them, and I haven't even got to go exploring them all yet. Because I'm a weenie, and
Yeah.
I'm out of shape, and I'm a big girl, and I don't do climbing very well, and yeah.
The backstory on this place, though, supposedly in the 80s, I believe it was, supposedly a young teenager came up missing from there, and then sometime later they found his body.
In the area.
He was buried. He was buried on the trail. So
Interesting.
yeah, so they claim that teenager haunts the place.
The whole place, how you described it's really interesting. Like I would like to know what the altar grindstone's made of.
Yeah, the
If you say
grindstone
sand
is
quartz, I'm just gonna laugh my ass off. I'm just gonna say
it's sand quartz, and granite. Yeah,
yeah, that's
Yeah.
funny.
they would take a large stone. You know, it's a circular thing, and it's got stone all the way around it. But there's dirt and sand all in that one circular area, and there's a stone in the middle. Now,
Huh?
you take the miners would take the gravel that they would get from mining, and they put it in that circle area, and then they take a large stone with a spike through it that where they could hook a rope to it, and then they would attach the rope to a donkey, and the donkey would go in circle and drag that stone, or they would do it manually they would have a stake set up to where they could walk around and do that. But that stone would grind the smaller gravel, and then they could possibly find gold and silver and whatever other
You know what'd be
minerals.
cool? You know what'd be cool?
Hmm.
To take a metal detector out there and
Yeah.
see if there's actually anything in there. I think it'd be cool as hell. Sorry.
Well, I'm sure you'd probably find something in there.
Oh yeah.
I'm sure.
Because it goes in because the reason why it does it because the quartz is like little shards.
Mhm.
And so, and they're extremely hard, especially like garnet is super hard. And so they'll use that and just grind everything down and then use mercury.
Yep.
And there's one other thing they can use to actually remove silver and gold out of
Mhm.
it. But yeah, that'd be interesting. Dude, even putting a recorder on top of that thing and leave it run all night would be real interesting.
Yeah. Yeah. The problem is, you know, there's so many people that sneak in there at night, and a lot of the spooking is because somebody will go in there at night, and there's these people that walk around in there, you know, they're doing satanic rituals, and they're walking around in black cloaks and all this. So you're thinking, oh, I saw a ghost. Yeah.
Hi, Lori. So she said something. So I understand that the gold hunting mechanism. What did you find? How many Bigfoot incidents, etc., in Oklahoma? I live in
Pacific Northwest.
Pacific Northwest.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
Heck yeah, girl. I'm from Washington State. I'm in Idaho now.
Myself personally, I have seen. I saw 2 full body Bigfoot. I've seen 1 half body. The rest of them, so it's probably 6 total. Before I moved up here, from where I am now, there's 6 total down in southwest Oklahoma. When I moved up here, with her now at her property where we live in northern Oklahoma, we have a Bigfoot
In
that
our backyard.
hangs out in the backyard.
Which, believe it or not, when I went outside, when I went outside to go get Cammy, it's really heavy out there tonight. So, like humid,
Yeah.
heavy. Yeah.
Oh yeah. We were sitting watching TV in the middle of the day at 12 o'clock noon. We were sitting in the living room, all of us, me, her, and the kids, and we were watching TV, and all of a sudden we hear a loud boom on the side of the trailer, and I ran outside. Colton, our son-in-law, ran the other direction outside, and came and met out back, and there was nothing.
Nothing there.
You know, so
Yeah.
but
Sorry.
but this Bigfoot that stays outside,
You better stay outside. I
it
don't need Harry and Henderson
it actually-
in my house.
it introduced itself to our dog. It growled at her.
Yeah.
I had her out going to the bathroom, and it was pitch black dark back there, and I didn't have a source of light, but I wasn't expecting nothing to be back there. I'm letting her go potty, and about 4 feet away in the pitch black darkness, she sees something, and so she points, and then she gets in the stance to show me what direction she hears and smells something. She's sniffing hard, you know, and then she goes woof, woof, and then she's like, and as soon as she growled, she got growled back at, and it was something I've heard before. So I knew it wasn't a bear. I knew it wasn't another dog, because I know all the dogs around here. I knew it wasn't any other canine, but I pulled my phone out and I snapped a picture. At the time, I had a weak flash on it, so it barely flashed, and I actually got a picture of a copper-colored Bigfoot sitting back behind the tree that was in the darkness, 4 feet away from my dog, and in the picture it looks like she has one of her infants sitting on her shoulder.
So just to let you know, Lori, our dogs are always leashed. They don't go outside unleashed.
Nope.
And also, Lori, you got to think. I have more instances of people telling me that they're not scared of dogs, really, and they will befriend a dog. So it's more of like, if the dog's not super aggressive, they will kind of go, "Hey, knock it off," and then next thing you know, the dog will come out, bark, and just chill, because they know neither one of them is going to go after each other. So it's like
that
they're
dog
not going to go
now,
after your dog.
That dog now, when she goes outside, she's constantly looking for it. She doesn't growl, she doesn't bark, she just sniffs around, and if she notices something, she'll point for me, you know, but she won't bark.
But they like our cats.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Morris loves the Bigfoot.
I got my last video that I did, boots on the ground outside the house, was with night vision, and I actually was filming the cats, and I had the camera on one of the cats, and I said, "Oh, look, is that a cat?" And as soon as I said that, I heard behind me, it said, "Yeah."
He was like,
the
"What?"
thing is that in the video, it cuts out.
Yeah, in the video it cuts
out.
out.
You can't hear it.
But
that's that ultrasound stuff.
Yeah. And so I turn around and I'm like, "Did y'all hear that?" And I walk towards the neighbor's house.
Okay.
And right behind the neighbor's house there's a couple of trees. Well, I'm looking through the camera at that, and I see eye shine. And the eye shine's probably up about 6.5, 7 feet. So I'm focused on that, and the of course the eyes are wide, and they're reflecting almost a reddish color.
Right.
So I'm like, ooh, we have a visitor. And as soon as I said that, it focused on me. But then I
It was
saw,
like,
yeah. Then at ground level, I saw another set of eyes, and it was walking around the fence towards me.
Which was Morris.
That was our cat. He was
that's funny.
hanging around. He was hanging around this creature, and he came back around, and I said, "Oh, hey, Morris," and he goes, "Meow," and then I immediately took the camera back up to try to get the eye shine. I lost it for a second, then I got it back, and that thing's staring right at me.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, I know who you are. I know who you are. I'm not gonna bother you. Just
You stay there. I'll stay here.
Don't off my cat.
Love you.
Yeah.
Yeah, the cat named Morris too. Cool.
No.
Lori. Lori does.
Oh, Lori does.
Yeah.
Lori actually lives at a really good place. So Port Orchard in Washington State.
Oh yeah.
That's right on the edge of some hot spots. I've been over there more times than I can count. I'm from Chelan County. Yeah, specifically Manson. It's a village. It's on Lake Chelan. It's as far as you can drive up the lake. And then I spent all the time in Stehekin, which you have to either boat, fly, or hike into. There's no road. So I know her area very well, and that whole section all the way over to the coast is crazy. Like not a lot of people see them, but they'll let you know they're there.
Right. Yeah. It's something about Oklahoma. You go into the more dense areas. Of course, you're not going to see very much. You would think you would hear more in the more dense areas. I hear more in the less dense areas than I do in the. And
I think that's how they walk.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, if you're like, I had a lot of pine forest up there and in here. So the ones that are really spread out, they can move through that so fast you really don't hear them. But in the dense stuff, they're more like a cat, where when they put their foot down, they're like run down boat. They move slowly until they have some kind of noise to cover them. Like I used to laugh. So you could be out there. I could turn on my stereo, my little Walkman. Don't laugh at me. Yes, I had a Walkman. And play it, and then just shut it off real quick, and you could hear them walking. As soon as that started playing, they would use that noise to cover them walking.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
What?
I had one of the first places I went. Okay. She's taking a bathroom break, y'all. But I had one experience in Lawton other than the two that I met face to face. I went to a park that had a railroad track that ran right by it, and there's this old railroad bridge, and there's a creek that ran right underneath it. I have it on video on my channel, but I went into there's trees on both sides of that creek, right next to the tracks, on both sides of the track. Well, there's a more dense forested area on the other side that leads to the highway, and then on this side of it, you have the two areas of trees. Well, I went to the one on the right, and I went in there, and of course, it looked like there was some homeless people that had been staying in there, which I don't blame them, because it was a nice place to lay low.
Yeah.
But I went in there, and the canopy is kind of open, but still covered, but it's got a large ceiling area. So I'm looking up in there, and I turned my back to this one tree right behind me that it was probably about yay thick. And I turned my back to it, and I'm looking at the track. And as soon as I look at the track, I hear right next to me, I hear a boom. And I felt it. It jarred me. And I turned, and there's nothing there. So I'm like, okay, I got to get out. I go back out where I came from, and I'm standing out there near the creek, and I'm filming back in there. I zoom in, and I actually got a picture of a juvenile Bigfoot leaning and looking around that tree
Right.
at me. It was sitting down behind the tree, and he was leaning forward and looking at me.
Crazy.
You can see the cone-shaped head and the black hair. It's all curly black hair, and you could see the leathery face, dark black leathery face.
That's wild.
And then I turned the other direction, and the trees on the other side, it looked to me that there was a Bigfoot standing in that tree line, approximately about 6 feet tall, and it was brown.
Wow.
Yeah, so I'm like, okay, what do I do? So I'm thinking, you know what? They know I'm here. If they're gonna do anything, they would have done it by now. So I'm gonna go on the other side of the bridge. So I go on the other side of the bridge, and I'm back there, and I don't hear nothing. I don't see nothing. And I'm like, okay. I tried doing a live, and of course it was bad reception.
Excuse me.
And I tell everybody I'm gonna come back.
Thank you. Oh my goodness.
Well, I come back. It was probably a month later. I go back there, and I go into that area where I saw the small Bigfoot. I go in there, and there's a security guard's belt laying by that tree, right? And it has a can of pepper spray. It has a can of pepper spray attached to it. So I pick it up, and I'm like, thank you. Because the day before I mentioned to my mom, I said, I have a feeling that something's going to happen when I go back out there again. And I said, I'll probably get gifted something. Sure enough.
That's cool.
Yeah.
So that's a Wolf Lady was talking about. She got zapped. She's like, I'll tell you in the interview.
Mm-hmm.
I can tell you when I got zapped, it's weird. So earlier when I told you when I was up here in Idaho, honestly, I haven't seen a lot or heard a lot here. I'm right on the edge of the Frank Church Wilderness of No Return. So that's 2.5 million acres of no man's land. No vehicles, no houses, no nothing. That also borders like 3 other Forest Service lands that are like 500,000 acres apiece. It's like, I think it's the biggest Forest Service reserve area besides Alaska. So they have a lot of roam, like they can roam anywhere where they want to, kind of thing. So when I was going up there, and I told you I heard him, I was going by the buckbrush, and I heard him huff at me, and then I was like, oh God, and I was kind of like, I don't need to pull my gun. And then it ran off. The buckbrush ran all the way up the hill. And so at that point, I was around 6,500 feet. Mm-hmm. And I was trying to climb the top of the hill is like 7,500 feet above sea level. And so my old ass is just trying to get it up this freaking hill. And I got halfway up where there's a whole bunch of other brushes, but there's little catacombs where wolves would make dens and all that kind of crap. Mm-hmm. And elk go by, right? Because I was elk hunting. And so I was trying to make it up there to actually make a blind for elk hunting. I got almost there, and I got this weird feeling of go away. Like you do when there's a predator around. Like, I don't know if I want to go there. And I was like, I got this. I got about 10 more feet, and then I had a feeling of dizziness, nausea, drained, and I have seizures because of my TBI. And so it went from that to I had a seizure, and I just felt myself going out, and I just laid down on the ground and laid on my pack on the side of this mountain. Mm-hmm. At this point, I was almost at 7,000 feet, or right around there. I woke up. Now I have a GPS on my vest. So if I do have a seizure and I do get confused, I have a waypoint of how I got there and where my truck is or where my campsite is. When I woke up, I was at 5,000 feet and I took a trail. My GPS said my GPS on my body went straight down the hill, which means I went over twigs, logs, and everything I cannot go over.
Right.
I woke up, leaned up against a tree, just sitting there with everything right next to me. I had my bow right next to me. My gun was still on me. Nothing was messed with. It took me like 3 days to recover. I felt like I had the flu from hell. I mean, it was bad.
So do you think the Bigfoot helped you down the hill or the mountain or whatever?
Yeah, I think he zapped me because he was kind of like, you're not going any farther because of whatever was there, whether his clan was behind those bushes or whatever up the hill.
Right.
Because of my medical condition, I just went down. And then he felt sorry for me. I feel personally picked my old ass up and marched me down the hill. So I was literally about 30 feet from the main trail to get off the mountain.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
Wow.
I mean,
that's amazing.
Cool.
They're not there to hurt us. They're just here to protect the land and say, don't get in my way.
Don't infringe on our space.
They'll do whatever it takes to protect their own, of course.
Yeah. And I think they watch us to see how we are.
Right.
Like I'm a woodsman. So like I take care of the woods. I don't shoot the first deer I got. I want to cull the oldest out of the herd. I think they watch how we act when we're hunting and when we're doing everything. And I think they treat us accordingly.
Lori says, I'm having incident in my home.
Is that after she said it was a spirit, not Bigfoot?
Yeah.
She asked if she also asked the question, are we in the area of, go back up, where the FBI attack on the Randy guy, etc. home? She was wondering, as in ask me or us or you?
I was not part of it, but I know of it.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. So it must be closer to you because I don't know nothing of that. But that doesn't mean anything because I don't.
Yeah, that's.
And then, who is the nice young fella behind you, Sparky?
What's that?
Who's the nice young fella behind you?
That's my son.
Ah, hi, son.
Got her. Wave.
So there you go, Melissa.
Lori says, my sister passed away May 1st, and there's something going on here.
Oh, wow. Well,
Yeah,
I'm sorry for your loss.
She might be trying to
could easily be there.
let you know something.
Well, if you have a spirit in your house, and that is always a possibility, especially if they just recently, to let you know what's something they want you to know before they move on, or
just letting you know that they're okay.
Yeah, I just had this conversation. A gentleman put ashes from a relative on his property. And he's like, I don't know. I'm hoping for the best. I can actually have contact. And I'm like, you know what? It's like I have ashes from my uncle here. And it took like almost a year, almost after a year, where I started going, there's somebody new here. And then I got him on EVP. I got him on the static box. Like, okay, you're here. You didn't move on. But it's like a lot of times they move on. You know, it's like it's saving one's ashes or thinking I'm not going to come back. They don't always. Sometimes they do for a minute. Sometimes they just stay around. You never know.
Yeah.
We have spirits in this house.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. We know who they are, too. So
I have some. They're all good here. I made a point. It's like you can't be here unless you're family or you're good. And my last recording, honestly, it sounded like between the boom mic and the static box I was running, I was right here at this desk. It sounded like it was a fight going on with people that were here and people that should not be here. At the point where they called me by name and said, he's still in the house. I was like, I started listening back to all this. I'm like, am I listening to like a spiritual battle right here from the people I said could be here and they need to kick everybody out? This is really cool because literally this is what we tell people you can do. You know?
I'm sorry she was so bad.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Back when my dad was alive, he had this buddy that sang karaoke, and he told my dad that he had spirits in his house, right? Well, he made a recording for my dad to listen to of him singing, and we played that recording, and in the middle of the song, in the recording on a cassette tape, in the middle of the song, you hear something go, "Get out." Yeah. Me and my dad were like, "Oh, he really does have something there," you know. But yeah,
and I don't know why they always like to say "hey" and "get out" for some reason.
Mm-hmm.
That's like a common thing.
Yeah. But yeah, a year to the day after my dad passed away, I got to see him a year to the day after he passed away. He showed up in an orb that went around the moon, believe it or not, and then came down while I was outside filming it. It came down and stopped right in front of me. I was out on my front porch. It stopped right in front of me, and I focused in with the camera and I snapped a picture. And I look at the picture, and my dad's face is right in the middle of the orb.
Oh wow!
My mom was sick with pneumonia that night. After I showed her the picture, miraculous, she recovered fully. So my dad said before he passed away, we were out looking at the full moon about a month before he passed away, and he says, he's like, God's telling me when I pass away, I have something to do with the moon. And then that happened a year after he passed.
I'm sorry, I wasn't laughing at that. Where are you going? She's the person that Satan would be scared of.
I know, I was reading it too. I was trying not to laugh myself.
But honestly, dude, that's the cool part. Like, I do have some people that get mad at me when we're doing, or I'm watching the Bigfoot thing, or I'm helping them go through audio or whatever. I'm like, that's a barred owl, or nope, that's a horned owl, or nope, that's a quail screaming because you're too close to the nest, dog in the background, whatever. Because I'm going, if it's so close, you can't verify it, then it's not what you think it is, right? You just have to like throw it out. And then they get mad when I'm like, okay, that's not a dog. They're like, well, it sounds like I'm like, no, if you listen to it, it doesn't have the bark that like at the end is trying to be a dog.
Mm-hmm.
So I've had people get real mad at me because like I do believe, and I want to believe in everything and anything until it's proven wrong. But I'm also a skeptic to say I'm not going to believe anything that I think could be something else. And the stuff like you're talking about is a good point. Is like, we don't know what's out there.
Right.
It's like, look at everything open-minded, be a skeptic, but look at it open-minded.
Right.
That was me. That's skeptic. And then I'm going to marry you. That's just weird. No, I'm just kidding.
The fact is she could go, I know 5 people. I was like, wow.
Yeah. Jesse. She
what?
knows. She said there's a few kinds of those people. 5 too many, actually. She knows.
So, but yeah, I was just gonna comment that we all have to be careful.
Oh, Lori, don't worry about it. Honestly, like, it might sound callous, but family is not blood. Family is whoever you decide be in your life.
Yeah.
And if they treat you like family, they become family.
Yeah.
Babe, it's 20 to 11.
Yeah. Yeah, I hate to do it, but we are going to have to cut this short.
Sure, this is long, yo.
I got on it, just started talking, and then we never stopped.
Yeah, Sparky, it's all
Yeah.
your fault. But
It's
thanks
my
for
fault.
hosting it. I mean, after I left.
Well, yeah, we can definitely continue this next week. I mean,
Yeah.
there's always something interesting to talk about in the cryptid and paranormal world.
Yeah, and everybody in the chat is like, when he
Yeah.
throws up the link, jump on the link, come in. You don't have to stay on as long as I have to and make them not have sleep. You can jump on for 5-10 minutes and jump off. I'm just a weird one.
I want to apologize to everybody else for not throwing the link up again if anybody else wanted to come in. But
Yeah, he's kind of
we got
snob like that.
We got in deep conversation and
I sidetracked him.
Good night, Sharon. We love you. Sleep well, and I'll talk to you tomorrow on Mogs and Stevie B.
Good night, Sharon.
And probably AI.
Yep.
Mike or Abnormal Investigation.
Yep.
Sorry.
Before you leave, remember, subscribe, hit that bell so you're notified of all the videos, and like the video before you leave.
Yep.
And share it.
And share it. And if you have time, hit the little heart button because that actually helps the algorithm.
Yeah. And if you leave a comment, I usually comment back.
Like right away because he's always on YouTube. I don't think he has a life outside of YouTube, y'all.
So if I comment 20 times, you have to re-comment 20 times? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, pretty much. I might cut it down to maybe 18.
Oh, now what?
Jesse, get some sleep. We'll see you tomorrow.
Yeah.
We love you, girl.
Jess.
Really good information, guys. Good debate and different ideas. I loved everything that was going to chat. It was awesome.
Yeah, thank you.
Well, we're happy you popped up, Sparky.
Yeah.
And I was like, when I got to Cammy or the restaurant that Cammy works at, I was like, who's co-hosting? I was like, oh, it's Sparky. I don't even know if you guys saw the comment.
I'm just a crazy guy who jumps between everybody's lives and just jumps on and goes, hi, how you doing?
Well, no, the thing is I didn't see his name right away. And I'm like, who is that? But anyway, we love you guys so much. Thanks for being here. Sparky, it was great seeing you.
Yep.
You have
Thanks for having me on.
You need to come down to Oklahoma
anytime,
and
man.
visit.
Yes.
We'll take you to that parallel forest and let you get lost.
I would so camp out there. I would so camp out for like a week.
I don't think can you camp in the parallel forest? I don't think you can.
Not well.
If I hide really well.
They do have special overnight permits. I think it's like $1,600 though for. Yeah.
It's expensive. Yeah.
But they do have Doris Campground, which is down the road a little ways. Doris Campground is.
If an army guy went in there and just fully camouflaged into the back.
They do it all the time. They do it all the time.
Okay.
Those army guys stay out there.
We're good then.
Yeah.
We're good then.
It's my people. We're all good.
The thing is that I would not be the one out there in camo camping. Yeah, not happening. But have fun, y'all. I'll see you on the flip.
I stayed at 2 campsites out there when I was out there for 4 months straight. Campsite 19 and campsite 16. 16 was where the mountain lion confrontation was. She was big. But campsite 19 was where Bigfoot came up to the tent. So if I was to stay out there, that's where I'd stay.
Yeah, I mean, they just
gonna put a circle around that right there.
I'm telling you.
But 19's right next to the lake. There's it's called Lake Quantiparker. It's like there's a drop off that goes right down to the lake, right at the side of the campsite. And then 16 is on the other side of it, and it's more towards the center of the campground. And every single morning, you get the herd of buffalo, 350 buffalo, stomping through there. It's a sight.
Rodeo time. Come on, let's go. Let's go.
He wants to go.
I got my rope. We can do it.
Do not pet the curly cows.
Yeah. One guy tried to. This young
I'll
buffalo.
go to a Bigfoot. I ain't going to a buffalo. Oh no.
This young buffalo comes up behind my dad. We're sitting at a picnic table one morning, and the young buffalo comes up behind my dad, and he starts licking my dad on the ear. But we'd been around the buffalo for like 3 months by then, right? So they were familiar with us, and he was curious. So he's licking the back of my dad's ear, and my dad's sitting there like, okay, this is weird. And all of a sudden, this guy comes running up, and that young buffalo takes off and almost tramples our tent. But the guy comes up to my dad and he's like, "Did you see that? Did you see that? That buffalo? You could have reached out and petted it." And my dad made the mistake of, "I have." He said, "I have." And that guy goes,
He
"Oh,
French
really?"
kiss me actually right now.
He's like, "Oh, really? Hey, buffalo, come back here. I want to pet you." And he goes running after it.
Oh my Lord.
And that, ladies and gentlemen, was the last. No, just kidding.
Yeah. Didn't see that guy again, so I don't know.
Oh, entertainment purposes only. Just saying.
I
Do
think he
not
found
pet
out.
buffalo.
No, do not.
I think he found that out. He probably chased it all the way to the other side of the lake.
Oh God.
I've seen too many.
Hopefully Mama didn't come out because she would have been, guess what?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
For everybody listening, if you don't know, elk, deer, bear, buffalo, anything that's big and fuzzy, just don't go pet it. Take a photo and walk away.
I forget what town it is, but there's a town here in the United States where they dedicated the statue of a buffalo to a woman that got attacked by one. Now, this buffalo statue, it has her ripped jeans hanging off of the horns.
That is awesome. I love that.
I'm gonna have to look that up. I forget what town it is, but it's an actual statue dedicated to that woman.
Bro, I pulled over because we have wolverines up here. And so one got run over, and I went to get it out of the road, and I'm not saying this rude, but a soccer mom from Boise pulled up behind me because she thought it was a cat. And she came up all weird. I'm like, no, it's fine. It's just a wolverine. I'm just going to get it off the road. It was already dead. Trust me, I made sure it was dead before I even got near the damn thing. If you don't know, wolverines are like Tasmanian devils in a bigger suit.
Mm-hmm.
And so she was like, I want to find one of these because those are so cute. I'm like, lady, if you find one of these, it will rip your arm off.
Yep.
Like bears run from these things. And she's like, really? I'm like, yeah, really. It's like, please go back to the city. Just go back to the city. You're gonna die up here.
Yeah. If they are furry or scaly out in the woods, don't pet them.
If they hiss, it's not a good hiss.
Right. If they show their teeth, that doesn't mean, hey, I want something to eat out of your hand. I want to eat your hand.
I was left. There was a video of a gal up here. She saw this. We have these black chipmunks or squirrels. They are like just mean. I'm like, they're not like normals where they'll only bark when like you come around. They're territorial and they're just not nice without cussing. She saw one and decided she was going to try to feed it. So she had nuts in her head and the thing just went over and just took a part of her finger off. I'm like, leave our wildlife alone. Just please, just leave it alone.
Yeah. Yeah. Everybody be nice to the wildlife. Keep your distance and enjoy the view.
Should have named it Logan.
Yeah, I was rather what Melissa just said.
Just told her to name it.
Oh, jeez. Oh, thank you, Sarah J. Appreciate it.
You're welcome. You guys, if you haven't already, go check out Sparky's channel. I just dropped the link for him. Show him some love.
It's really dumb and boring videos, and there's not a lot of them.
Okay, so you're not dumb, not boring by any means, so stop it.
I just jump around in people's lives and
That's okay. You can come back anytime and give us crap. We love it. Makes our crazy life a little bit more interesting.
Harold was trying to go like 20 minutes ago. We just kept talking.
I'm trying to get us to go to sleep because I have to get up for work tomorrow.
Everybody said goodbye like 5 times already.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah,
We're leaving. I'm out. Thank you guys so much for having me on. And I'm going to dip out so you can actually close this out because I stay here. We're not closing it out.
All right, man. You have
guys
a good
later.
one.
Good night, Sparky.
Later. Yeah. It's always good having you on.
You guys, you make us laugh. You give us
Yep.
a hard time, but we love it. We hope you enjoyed tonight's El Chupacabra encounter story from Lady J.
Yeah. We'll try to come up with a interesting story for next week.
Yeah, we might have to get a hold of Sparky and see. Just kidding. But you guys are amazing. We couldn't do this without you guys here. So we love you guys so much. We hope you enjoy it. Don't forget to hit the like ring
button.
the notification bell, share it out.
Yeah. Leave a comment.
All that stuff.
Leave a comment after the show.
Go check out Sparky's stuff, even though he said he doesn't got much. Doesn't matter anyway. Go show him some love.
Make sure you check out Abnormal Investigations.
Oh yeah, cornbread.
And Arcane Paranormal World and Mongolian Monster WTF on Tuesdays and Thursdays at 8 o'clock Central, the same time we're on, but we're on Wednesdays.
No, we're never on. We're always crazy. Don't just tease it.
But y'all, take care. Be safe.
Keep watching.
Yeah. Good night.
Good night, everybody. Love y'all.
Whispers in the woods where shadows play. Legends come alive at the break of day. Footsteps echo loud, but no one's there. Bigfoot's lurking in the midnight air. Frogmen house beneath the moonlit gloom. Eyes that shine like fire in a room of doom. Poltergeist dancing, moving through the halls. Ancient secrets breaking through the walls. O.C.S.T, it's more than a name. Bigfoot and stuff, it's a whole new game. Chasing the truth in a silent night. Empowered by the mystery, fueled by the fright. Cryptids in your mind, let your wonder grow. The hidden world is ours to know. From the forest deep to the attic's dust store. O.C.S.T, we're learning to trust. Tracks in the snow where the brave won't tread. Hidden voices calling from the things we've read. The unknown things with a haunting sound. Empowering us as the tales go around. O.C.S.T, it's more than a name. Bigfoot and stuff, it's a whole new game. Chasing the truth in a silent night. Empowered by the mystery, fueled by the fight. O.C.S.T, it's more than a name. Bigfoot and stuff, it's a whole new game. Chasing the truth in the silent night. Empowered by the mystery, fueled by the fight.